We are using acrylic. So we are starting now, okay? So hello everyone. We are starting the live stream now, and welcome to the class. I hope you are having a good time learning about how to paint with acrylic. So we are just starting the process of learning how to paint with acrylic. So we will do some basic fundamental class first, and then later on we will go into painting actual art when we catch up with the basic process. Okay, so I have prepared my palette with the colors, and I will switch my camera now, so you can see what I have in my palette. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, perfect. So I have these colors. This is called extended palette. So I have all 6 colors, right? So I have the yellow, and I put some water into it, and it's nice and like creamy. So I'm preparing my paints right now. And I am a good user of the paper towel. So I will clean my brush, clean my palette nice in between. And I'll just mix up the paint, because I spray a little bit of water into it. So I just want it to become nice and smooth. That's my red. So I have my yellow, which is the primary color. I have the red, and this orange has been made by these 2 colors. So this is the secondary color. So I have yellow, red, yellow, orange, and red on this side. Then I have violet. This is the violet color. And I have ultramarine blue, or any blue is fine. And I have the green. I also have another blue called cerulean blue, but I don't have it in here. I don't know if I will need it. If I do, then I will go to it. Otherwise, I am okay with these colors. And I also have a white, which is not here, but I will mix it in my palette if I need to. And I have a little tube of black here. So I have all of these colors, okay? And we will start with um, a fundamental process, and we covered that last time a little bit, the process of blending, right? And so we will try different kinds of blending today, right? And I will start with a brush that is not too big and not too small either. Maybe something like this. These are like flat brushes. This is a medium size, like size 4 maybe, of a flat brush. I'm going to use that to blend, okay? So we will try that. And then we will also try blending with a fan brush. So if you don't have a fan brush, that's okay. Just blend it with a very soft, thicker brush, maybe, if you don't have a fan brush, okay? A fan brush looks like, I will show you my fan brush. I'm looking for my fun fan brush, which is very unfortunate. I'm not able to find it. Uh, oh, here it is. This is my fan brush. So I have a brush that looks like a fan. But if you don't have a fan brush, don't worry. You can just use a thicker brush, a big, thick, soft brush. Okay, that will be okay. Like a bigger brush, like this, a very soft one. Okay, so that's another brush we are going to use for blending. And then we will also do blending with our fingers. And I will also do another kind of blending with a thinner brush like this. Okay, so let's get started. And I have my water in a cup. And mostly I don't clean my brush in the water all the time because it creates a lot of plastic waste. So I always clean my brush in this cloth, in this paper, and then I clean it with my water. And so my water stays clean for a very long time. Okay. So because I'm doing blending of two colors, I will probably use two different brushes so that I don't contaminate my colors, right? So I'm now going to go into my green. You go into your green, take a lot of green, take a lot of green, and then I'll go into my yellow with this brush, take a lot of yellow and put it in here. And now I'll start the process of blending, okay? So I'm gonna go into my green. So see how I'm holding my brush? So hold your brush, not very close to here, maybe in the middle, okay? And then I will just do this with your brush like this kind of stroke. It's very smooth and buttery. And I have a tape here, so I'm gonna go all the way. If you don't have a tape, don't worry, just use the paper to do this. And then I will come into the yellow with this brush and I'll mix the yellow into here. I'm having a really great time and I want you to have a really great time too. So mix this nicely, spread it all over. Maybe you don't want to see the white of the paper or the canvas. I'm just doing like this. Now I'm going to go into this green and start blending. Because my green is wet, my blending is going okay. The paint needs to be somewhat wet. If your paint is not wet, you'll have trouble blending. If your paint is going dry too fast, you can use a spray bottle to wet it a little bit in the middle area, okay? And then the spray bottle has now wet the paint a little bit more. And I'm just doing the blending now. So I'm now going to clean my brush again. Come back here and try to make it smooth because we are doing blending. And so it is okay to try to make it smooth. so that I don't see many brush marks. Okay. See how I'm wiping my brush in between? That's the trick. Okay. If you go into water all the time, then the brush is gonna get too wet and it will be difficult for you to blend. Okay. So when I want to clean my brush, I just clean it with the paper that I am holding in my hand. So try that. Please try that at your end. I'm blending the green and the yellow, and in between there is this spot where the actual blending is happening, and I'm wiping my brush, cleaning my brush and pulling in more yellow into the green and pulling in more green into the yellow. But my paint is drying up, right? If I want to blend more, this paint needs to stay somewhat wet, not too wet. So I sometimes would use a spray bottle to spray here just a little bit, and that gets the paint somewhat wet, and I can do. But if you see how, if I continue to do this, because some spots have dried, you may see a few little drops like on the paper. Okay, so just be careful how much water you put. Okay, so I blended the two colors. I can come into my yellow more and blend more and make it real smooth. Bring the green more into the yellow. Okay, I can go and take a little bit more yellow even and bring it into the green because the green is wet, so it's okay. And now I'll clean my brush and I can bring in more yellow into the mix. And if I want this area to be a little bit lighter, I can now put in a little bit more wet paint. So you are really working in the center where the paint is wet. Okay, that's what the blending is happening, right? Okay, so I am done with that one. So that was one way of blending. Okay, and I would like to dry that now. So just give me 1 second. I will put on mute so that there is not much noise, and then it will be dry and I can take off the tape then. Okay. So while you do that, I'm going to get this part ready. I'll have to take the tape off. I always like to take the tape off. See how beautiful it looks with a very sharp edge. That's my favorite part. Okay, so now I can use this part to show another kind of blending. Okay, I am going to now take red and maybe I'll take orange, red and orange. Okay. Um, and I will use this fan brush. So it's good to have a good paper towel next to your painting when you are painting with acrylic. So that way, so I'm see how the fan brush glides over so easily. It's very beautiful, and but also it depends on your texture of your paint, right? My paint is very creamy because I mixed it a little while back. So now I won't have a very sharp edge because I don't have a tape there. Uh, okay, so that's that. So I'm gonna go into my orange now, and I am now blending. See, this is a different kind of blending. It's 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 with a fan brush, and I am just going into the two colors and bringing them together, just like that. And now I don't want too much red at the bottom, so I'm gonna go and wipe my brush. I'm gonna wash it with water, clean it. So now I have a clean brush and I'll just put orange here. It's hard. I cannot do a edge properly. Okay, I'm trying. The edge is not very sharp. I like a sharp edge, but I'm not able to get a sharp edge because obviously I do not have a tape there. So that's okay. That's what I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna go into more orange and just put that in here. Okay, see how beautiful it is? It's the transition of red into orange, right? So suppose you want something like a sky, like a sunset is happening, right? Because the paint is wet, you can just put your white right there and you can now blend that area. So immediately it becomes like a area where you have a lighter color and now you have, it looks like three colors, right? A lighter color and then you have the red and the orange on the two sides. Let's see how that goes. Everything, all the paint is wet. It's a wet on wet technique, right? Like watercolor we did before, wet on wet, something like that. This is a similar process where all the paint is wet and but I'm not coming in and contaminating. You see how I'm cleaning my brush on the side? I'm always cleaning my brush. And then I can come in and really mix it up like that over here. So There is no formula. This is just one way of doing it. So just have fun doing that and see how you feel. And this area, maybe I can do like this, like a cloud effect almost. Move my brush around like every which way. Maybe put in more red on the top. So I put in three colors here, the orange, the red, and the white, right? White is, after all, a color. And it created this center area really light, you know. So that was my second one. Now I'm going to go and dried it. Okay, just for a second. Just give me a second. I will put myself on mute and go dry the second one. So now I'm ready to do the third one that I'd like to just use the tape on the other side. One second. Maybe I'll use the tape over here because the yellow is very dry, so I can use the tape there, right? So now I'm going to do the third one. Here, I'm just gonna use my finger to blend, okay? So I'm going to get my paint filled up again. I think I'll do um, yellow and red in this case, but I'll put the red on the top. I need more red. I'm just going to put the red here, just from the straight from the bottle, and I will I'll put the yellow here, straight from the bottle also, and I will now come with a clean brush uh, and start blending it again. So you don't want too much water on your brush. So control the water, and you can always put more water if you want later on, but just try to not use too much water at the very beginning. right? So I have that, and I will now go and bring in the yellow a little bit. I'll just use a brush a little bit over here to just 1 second. I don't like the paint getting to the background, so I'll put this at the back. So, so this is very thick paint. I am purposely working with thick paint so I can help you to, and I encourage you to work with thicker paint because then the fear of paint goes away. So use a lot of paint, okay? And then we'll see later on, okay? If we need to use less paint, that's okay. Now see, I'm using my finger to blend. It gives a really nice cloudy effect. See how much fun this is? Try to do that. It's like finger painting, you know? But I won't come into the yellow with my red, okay? You always have to clean. Just like the brush, I clean. So I clean my fingers. So now I came into the yellow and pulling the yellow into the red. Again, clean. Okay, and then I'll come into the yellow, take the more yellow into the red. I'm taking yellow into the red because red is more pigmented. You don't want the red to come into the yellow too much because it will immediately become very, orange and all that. So you want to be a little bit careful with this. Because I use so much paint, I have I have an excess here, so it's making it very hard. Okay, maybe I didn't need to use that much paint. So yeah, have to keep a balance, right? So I'm mixing it, and now I'm pulling the yellow into the red a bit. Okay, in some places a little bit less, in some places a little bit more. Then I'm pulling the red into the yellow now, and I'm pulling the yellow into the red. So try that. I'm using the almost half of my finger here. And so you see how smooth the blending is? And so you don't have to use finger. I'm just saying that this is another way to blend, okay? So brush is the best way, but if you want, you could also use finger to blend. Blending with finger gives a very, very smooth effect and makes us feel like children. So you can create really nice sunset effect. Just make sure you wash your finger really well because the paints have a lot of different kind of chemicals in it. So you have to make sure that make sure you don't eat using this finger. Okay, make sure you wash it properly. So then I remove the tape and let's see how that came out. Yeah, that came out looking nice. So I'm gonna take a minute and dry this one. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do a fourth one, another kind of blending, but this one is a little bit different. This one is a little bit different than what we have been doing before. It will create an effect of blending, okay? Not like the other ones, but it will create an optical illusion of blending. So let me try to put the shapes here. All right, so now I will use a blue. So thing about blending is even if I'm cleaning my brushes, I'm not confident to go and use these brushes because they have other colors in them. So I constantly have to use new brushes because in a blending, if you bring other colors into the mix, then it may give a different effect altogether. Other colors is going to get blended in. Okay, so I'm using a different brush again, and I'll bring in the blue. Okay, maybe like that. And now I will use another brush, a clean brush, to bring in the yellow. A new brush to bring in the yellow into this side. Now I will take a small brush. Let's see how that goes, and try to create, not blend, but try to bring the two colors together using a small brush. But it gives an effect that I have blended, but I have not blended. I am bringing in very thin strokes of the color next to each other. Kind of like how Van Gogh did his painting. It's using, it's called optical illusion, where you are laying these colors really on top, almost like glazing, but it creates the green in the between. I did not blend. I'm just going over this area with my yellow. Clean the brush constantly. You can even create different patterns. Like you can, but the problem is, see, it's drying up, so I may have to put some water here. Otherwise, I'm not able to do this, right? So you may have to make sure that the paint doesn't dry too much, okay? So use a thin brush to do this technique. And it's also like blending, but not like what we did before. It's a different kind of blending where you're using a thinner brush to blend the two colors like that. Okay. And it creates a very interesting effect. Okay. So I have that. So at home, when you have time, play with your brush and your paint and have a lot of fun mixing colors. Okay. And you will learn how to use your brush. You'll learn how to you learn a lot if you just play. Just play with your paint and use a piece of paper to do all that. Okay, so that's done. Now I will remove the tape. Hopefully this is going to look okay. And here we go. So we did 4 different kinds of, putting two colors together. I'll turn it around. So if you want, you could take a picture after I put it properly. I haven't been able to put it properly yet. Just 1 second. That, and this has been an exercise in blending. Okay. Okay. Like that. So this is very beautiful. You can use this technique and play with them and make small cards for your friends and family, and then you can paint on top of these little things that you're gonna do, um, and you can use these little patches for something else later on. Like this can become a scenery, right? This can become a sunset. This can also become a scenery, and this can become a beautiful, you know, sunset, sunrise landscape. Okay, so they can be used for other purposes, and we can use them later on for our other painting classes in the future. But I wanted to go over the process of blending with you so that you can have lots of fun when you have time and experiment with your paint. Okay. So I will now show, um, I'm now going to show you something where um, I I prepared the paper, but I cannot. Oh, here it is. So what if we don't want to blend, right? What if we want to not blend, right? So here is 4 pieces of paper where we are going to experiment with colors, but we are not going to blend, okay? We're gonna put them next to each other, or we are gonna layer, or we are gonna glaze, but we're not gonna blend. Not blending. That's the name of this exercise. So we did something like that last time. One of them is like, and I hope you have tried this at home last week. So that process was what is it? Pattering. Like you, so I walk along the color wheel and I slowly, um, add colors in that fashion. So I start from the yellow, then I add orange, then I add red, then I add purple, blue, like that, right? So here we go. We're gonna start now. So I'll take a brush which is not very perfect, kind of. Well, I have this brush already with yellow, so I'm gonna try that. Okay, it's kind of a okay brush. It's not very broken. So, but let me try that. So here we go. So I'm gonna take this and um, go into my yellow. So my yellow that I'm taking is very watery, not very thick. So I'm gonna splatter this paint here. Covering the other little pieces of paper so that the color don't get everywhere. So I'm dipping my brush into water and it's really watery. Okay. Now I'm using the same brush, clean, dry. Okay, I'm cleaning and drying on my paper, and now I have somewhat clean brush, but it's okay. I'm just gonna go into my orange and now splatter the orange. Now I will clean my brush a little bit and dry it. And now I'll go into my red. And it's like walking up and down the color wheel. Okay. So I went from yellow to orange to red. I'll put some water here and there at this point. I'm not blending. I'm just letting the colors mix with each other, right? Just putting some water. Everything is wet, right? So they are gonna spread. They're gonna spread, but there is yellow and orange in the mix. So they may not blend perfectly, but they're gonna play with each other. So I'm just putting in some water, letting the paints of different pigment coming close together and mixing with each other best they can. Okay. This is a lot of water. The paper is really, really wet. I can even turn my brush and I can even do this a little bit to mix. But see, I'm not blending, right? I'm just playing. I encourage you to play. Just turn your brush around everywhere and let the paint mix with each other. There is too much water, so I'm going to just come in and, soak up a little bit from the side, just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit I'll soak up from the side so the paint doesn't go under the tape too much. Now I'll take a moment and use my dryer. Why? Why did I not use the dryer before and now I'm using it? Because now I'm gonna go into purple, and purple means red and blue mix is purple, right? So immediately when the blue comes in, things can become a little bit tricky. You don't want the blue to mix with your warm colors. So that's why I'm gonna dry it a little bit, okay? It may still mix, but I'm just gonna dry a little bit, okay? Thank you. So it is not fully dried, but we're gonna move on because drying is gonna take too long. Just drying a little bit from here and there with the paper. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into my purple. Yeah, I have brushes that are that have color mixes. So I'm gonna go to a clean brush again. Put a little bit of water on it. Control the water. Okay, control the water. Dry up the water a bit. Then go into your purple. Just make sure the purple is not too thick. Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure that my purple is okay in the paper here. Just going to make sure that it's like a cream, not too watery, just right? Now I'm gonna put in the purple. This brush is not very good for splattering. It's giving me a little bit of trouble, and that's okay. And then I'll go into the blue. So I walk along with the color wheel. Okay, so I did yellow, orange, red, purple, and now I'm at the blue. So I'll put the blue now. So this is another kind of color mixing where I did not do blending, right? So and I can even use my spray bottle and see it's blending on its own. I did not do much. It's going to create very interesting effect on the paper when it dries. Okay, so that's another kind of mixing colors. You can also dry it with your paper towel a little bit. There is a little pool of paint here. But see, I did not use a brush or anything to blend. But yet I have all the colors here except for green. And you almost see some green because the yellow and the blue is mixing with each other, right? So that's another way of blending, of mixing colors, right? So, so did that. Now I'm gonna do another kind of color mixing, and I will do that here in the next box. Um, so this process of color mixing is called pointillism. Pointillism. So a very good way, honestly, to do that is to use a Q-tip, or you can use a brush. Okay. So I'm going to use a Q-tip and see how that goes. Because it makes it a bit faster if I use a Q-tip. So I'm gonna just use this. I can raise this up at this point. Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, so I'm gonna use the red. So use the red and your brush or Q-tip and just experiment this with me. See how easy it is. So in the old days, there was an artist, I forget his name, but he did pointillism to put together very beautiful painting. But he did not use Q-tip like me. He used a proper brush. And I would imagine it took a long time because now I have to fill up this space with all different colors. It's going to take a long time. So we won't be able to do it in this class. But I just want you to know that you can have fun this way. This is a very time consuming process, and believe it or not, there are many big canvases that has gotten painted this way. The whole canvas is full of dots like this. Okay, so I cannot do this the whole time, but uh, so you can now go into your purple and you can now put in the purple dot wherever you have the white. So what is going to happen is your eyes is going to blend it. It's called optical illusion. So even if you did not blend it with a brush, your eyes are gonna blend these colors and you will see another kind of color coming through. So even though you have red, you may not see the red. You may only see the purple. Okay. Um, so you can continue to do this and experiment with all the different colors on your palette. So I have more purple on this side and I have more red on that side, right? So the dots are of different sizes because you can do small dots or bigger ones based on how much force you are putting in. Yeah, my hands are getting tired. So I can only imagine when they did a whole painting using this method, how much time it took. It's a very meticulous way of painting, right? And you are putting in unmixed color. So you're putting in pure color like purple or red, and you're not mixing them at all. And you're filling up your canvas using that. In this case, I have more purple on this side and more red on that side, right? And the idea is you will get optical mixing. So if you mix blue and yellow, you're going to get green, even though you did not use a green in your color. So you're going to get that kind of effect. Um, and it was kind of established, was used during when Impressionism took effect, long time back, when the French artists, they painted in the style of the Impressionists, the movement started, and this was one of the way that they painted using oil paint. And because acrylic behaves very similar to oil paint, you can experiment with all of these in when you are painting with acrylic. You can finish a whole big painting using this method. And this method is called pointillism. And there are lots of famous paintings using this method, and it is the basis of color theory, where even though you are not really mixing two colors, your eyes are able to mix it due to a process called optical illusion, right? So see how interesting it is getting slowly. Um, so experiment with this, but when you do it at home, use blue and yellow, okay? And see if you get the effect of green. You will start seeing green even though you did not use green. So see how it's looking. You have to continue with this process, okay? And you have to fill up the entire area, and you will see it become very, very magical. So I will spend one more minute and then I'll move on to the third type of color mixing, okay? So today's lesson was about color mixing, all right? I used blending to talk about color mixing a little bit, and now I'm talking about non-blending kind of color mixing, okay? and how you can get effects of different colors, even though you did not mix the colors, but you followed along the line of the color wheel. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that because it's going to take a long time for me to finish this, but this is the idea, okay, of pointillism. This method is called pointillism. So I hope you can experiment with different colors at home using this method. Okay. Then another method that a lot of acrylic painters or oil painters would use is you would sorry, just let me get rid of that. Yeah. You would use something like a sharp object to carve into a background, right? And so basically the idea is very simple. Let's see. So actually, yeah, it involves drawing a little bit, and that's why I'm not very happy to get into it, but I'll try. So let me try. So I may have to use the dryer. So this is the idea that if you use a paint, right? And I'm using a thin layer so that it dries up fast. And also I'm painting on paper. So it is going to dry a bit faster than on canvas, hopefully. And I'm using very thin layer so that my drying is faster. Okay, so this is the idea. If you have a background of a color, and let me quickly dry it very fast, okay? And next, if I bring another color on top of it, right? I take a clean brush and suppose I bring in, I have a lot of purple left here. So maybe I'll bring in some purple, okay? You can bring in any dark color on top of with any cool color on. So basically, suppose I do like this, okay? Now, let me just put a little bit more. So what is happening here is it's almost glazing is happening, but I don't want glazing to happen. I want it darker. Let me put in some blue. Very dark color on top of the red, right? Now, if you go in with a palette knife, and I did have a palette knife here, and I'm not able to find it. Just give me a second. Yeah. Suppose I go with a palette knife and I scratch into it. You see how what effect I'm getting? The background will show, right? So that's another way of bringing together different colors. Okay, so we covered quite a bit, and I'd like to start writing the different names of it. Um, Give me a second. So this one here was spattering. And this one here is called, it's very difficult to um, pronounce. This is what it's called, sagraffito. So you are scratching into something to get another color out. Okay. And this one is wet, so I cannot write it, but it's called pointillism. Once it dries, I can write it. Okay. Right now, I cannot do it because it's very, very wet, but I can probably use a brush to write it. So maybe it will create color mixing right there. So that will be interesting. So this is called POI. Oh, this is terrible. I cannot see it myself. I'll write it properly later on. Pointillism. I'll write it later on. Okay. It's called pointillism, this method. Okay, I'll write it for you later on. So those are three different kinds of non-blending kind of color methods. And last and not the least is what um, Van Gogh or Monet, they did, right? They painted with colors um, and caused optical illusion by putting colors next to each other. Okay. Um, so what they did was, this is another way to mix color is, to put it simply, right? So if I use a small brush like this, and because this is a small space, but um, let me try a slightly bigger brush. Maybe that's very small. This is better. Okay, so this is size 2 brush. So basically, it it's like creating the strokes of color, but then you are coming in and filling in with other colors in between. So I'm using purple and um, blue, okay? And I'm just putting them next to each other, not blending, but just putting in small strokes of color next to each other and creating the effect of blending. You see how I'm putting in all these colors, but I'm not mixing them. I'm not blending them. I'm just putting them next to each other. So you can make a scenery just doing like this kind of brush movements, okay? So I'm putting in the blue, like a water, like in a landscape. I don't know if you can see it, but this is what I have, okay, in terms of no blending, but just brushwork of different color. And the brushworks are really, really next to each other. So they create that effect of blending, but it's not blended. Okay. So if you have done any work, I would like to see it at this point. So if you raise your, if you, if you raise it up, I can, actually I'm painting, right? So I'm not able to see your screen, but if you tell me your name, I'll stop and I'll point my camera to you. So this is called pointillism, the one that we did before, right? The paint is still wet, so I'm not able to. LLISM, pointillism. And this one is, this one doesn't have a name per se. It's just an impressionist style of painting. So uh, it could be called like, maybe we can name it today. It's called Monet's palette. Okay. This is how Monet painted. Monet's style. This is his style of blending. He did not blend it like we did in the other paper. Okay, so these are all the different styles that you covered today. So I'm going to, just so we did that, and then we also did this one before that, which is actual blending with blending colors together. And then we did this one where we covered 4 different styles, okay? Okay, so now I'm able to look at the camera and I'm looking at your screen. Just give me one more second. I'll be ready soon. I'm not ready yet. Just 1 second. Let me just remove all the paint and clean up my area a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to get paint all over me. Just 1 second. Almost there. Okay, I'm now looking at the camera. If you raise your painting up, yes, I will go to you, Angela. Just give me 1 second. I will add you in. Okay, very nice.
Okay.
You did everything.
Okay, and how about this? The other ones is not.
Looks beautiful. Love it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Did you have fun?
Yeah,
Very good.
I did
So-
learn a lot.
Please practice, okay? If you have a moment this week, okay? If you have a little bit of time, please practice. Okay. Is someone else raising up the painting? I am. Is Huang, are you trying to show your artwork? Maybe.
You know what? I did not get on the materials because I came late today, so I don't know what I have to bring. Or I don't have any supplies at all, so I have to go and get them first.
Okay. So, like I said last time, if you don't have supply, you can still use watercolor.
Oh, watercolor. Yes, I do have watercolor.
You can use anything. You can use pencil. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But we are doing acrylic. If you can go get the supplies, that would be great. But if you don't have, you still try to do something.
Okay.
And if you want to share that something, I'm okay with it. I will. It's fine. It's just art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
No problem. And I'm now going to Alex, I think, and I'm going to add his spotlight. And yes, that looks good. Raise it up, please. Yes, that looks good. Okay, that's great. You have experimented. Okay.
No
Awesome.
blending. And this one not blending.
Okay, that's great. That looks really good. Yeah, keep practicing. Wonderful.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Oh, is someone raising up?
Amy.
Amy is showing her work. Okay, I'm gonna add her. Oh, lovely. I love it. Beautiful work.
This is one side.
That's all
The
right.
other side, I
Ah.
haven't got it complete.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
Oops.
Looks good. Yes, yes, perfect. You did everything. I was practicing with you. You did everything. So keep practicing. Yeah, very
Okay,
nice.
I could. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very good job.
It's
Okay.
good experience.
That's very nice. Thank you. 1 second. I don't see anyone else's work on the screen. So we are going to say goodbye for today. And next time, if you get enough practice, you will be ready to do to start painting actual artwork. Okay. So we may do a small scenery next time. Okay, very simple using acrylic, but try to practice a little bit the blending and all that brushwork, blending, how to clean the brush, how to how to use the paper towel, what kind of brushes to use, how to mix the paint. Practice all of that. Okay, please.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
thank you.
Pam,
Bye.
so much. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
thank you. You're
thank you.
welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. How to turn it off?